Hello, Crystal. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I have another powerful story for you. A story about promises, trust, leadership, and the consequences of failing to keep your word. Sometimes, it only takes one broken promise to damage years of trust. And sometimes, it takes one honest person to rebuild what others have destroyed. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's story. Grand International School, a story of broken promises. Let's begin. If you grew up in Lagos, you know there are schools and then there are schools. Grand International School was one of those institutions people spoke about with pride. Located on Banana Island, Ikoyi, with its navy blue gates trimmed in gold and palm trees lining the driveway, it was a symbol of excellence. Parents dreamed of sending their children there. The school had nearly 800 students, a corridor full of trophies, and a reputation built over many years. The principal was Madam Abimbola Segoyo, a tall, elegant woman whose presence alone commanded silence. Students respected her, or rather, feared her. For a while, that fear looked like order. But Madam Segoyo had a dangerous habit. She made promises she never intended to keep. At a parents' meeting, she announced exciting plans: new air-conditioned classrooms, smart boards, a sports complex, educational excursions, and brand new school uniforms. Parents were thrilled and willingly paid the additional fees. The problem was that none of those plans had actually been approved. The new uniforms became the clearest example. Parents paid for them, but they never arrived. Every week, students asked questions, and every week they were told, soon. One student, a quiet and determined JSS2 girl named Temi, began writing in a small blue notebook every week. Uniform update. And every week, the answer was the same. Nothing. The excursions never happened. The sports equipment never arrived. Classrooms became overcrowded, with students squeezed 3 to a desk while enduring the Lagos heat. Then there was the issue of the school bus nannies. The head bus nanny, Miss Teresa, often called parents claiming the school bus had broken down. Parents would panic and arrange alternative transportation, only to discover later that the bus was perfectly fine. Miss Teresa simply did not feel like walking. She was also rude to parents and students, embarrassing children and speaking disrespectfully to anyone who challenged her. Complaints poured in from parents, students, and teachers. Madam Segoyo ignored them all. Before we continue, Crystal, if you're enjoying this story so far, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Your support helps this channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you more inspiring, emotional, and thought-provoking stories. Now, let's get back to the story. Soon, families began withdrawing their children from the school. Enrollment dropped, classrooms emptied, and Grand International School's reputation began to collapse. The board of directors launched an investigation. A 47-page report revealed a pattern of mismanagement, broken promises, and deception. The board voted unanimously. Madam Segoye was removed. As her office was cleared, the board turned to one man whose name appeared throughout the report, not as part of the problem, but as someone who had consistently raised concerns. Mr. Kunle Ade, the quiet, reliable vice principal. When Mr. Ade made a promise, he kept it. The board offered him the position of principal, and he accepted. On his first day, he arrived before everyone else. By midday, he had already reviewed financial records and contacted the uniform supplier with a simple message: deliver within 30 days or face legal action. That same day, he sent a notice to parents. I do not ask for your blind trust. I ask only for the space to earn it through my actions, not my words. A few days later, he addressed students, teachers, and parents openly. He admitted the school had failed them. He promised honesty, accountability, and transparency moving forward. The applause he received was cautious but hopeful. Then, something remarkable happened. The uniforms arrived. Not on the 30th day, on the 27th. Students rushed to see them. Temi held hers up and smiled as if a small piece of faith had been restored. Soon after, new buses were introduced. Excursions actually took place. Sports days were properly organized. Classrooms received much needed improvements. And the school, after reviewing the complaints, he suspended her for a full term. During her suspension, he promoted the cleaner she had spent years mocking. The cleaner became the new boss nanny and performed the role with professionalism, kindness, and dignity. When Miss Teresa returned, she returned as a cleaner. No speeches, no drama, just consequences. The message was clear. Things had changed. Parents noticed. Students noticed. Teachers noticed. Slowly, families began returning. New parents enrolled their children after hearing about the improvements. Enrollment climbed again. The school's reputation recovered. 3 years later, Temi graduated and was chosen to deliver the student address. Standing at the podium, she spoke about the blue notebook she had carried since JSS 2. I almost stopped asking, she said. But what I learned is this: it matters whether people keep their promises.
It matters whether people keep their promises. Because in the end, it matters whether people keep their promises. That is the legacy we must build.
It matters whether people mean what they say. And when you find people who do, hold on to them, learn from them, and become one of them. The courtyard fell silent. Then the applause began. And this time it did not stop for a long while. The end. And that brings us to the end of today's story, Crystal. If there's one lesson we can take away from this story, it's this: your reputation may open doors, but your character is what keeps them open. Promises matter. Integrity matters. And trust, once broken, can be very difficult to rebuild. What part of the story stood out to you the most? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this message today. Thank you for spending time with me, Crystal. Until next time, stay inspired, stay kind, and remember, great character is built one promise kept at a time. See you in the next story.